Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Malcriada, Thoughts of a Girl in a Sick World. I'm your host, Citlali Melgarejo, here to talk to you about all things femme, fair, and feared. Thank you so much for being here. So, today's topic is going to be something that honestly I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time, but I'm kind of nervous. I'm really nervous. I keep restarting because I want to get all the words right. So if you guys see me like clarifying like a bunch, I'm sorry. I just need to get that out there because it's a lot of information. Uh and it just intersects with so many topics, and I'm sorry if I get carried away by something. I'll eventually find my way back, okay? But today's topic, as you can tell from the title, is hating on the valley. And when I mean hating on the valley, I mean hating on the valley for shit reasons, okay? Fucking shit reasons that are borderline, that are no, not even borderline classes. They have so many classes tones and just straight out classes shit in it. You know what I mean? And honestly, it checks out. It really does check out. Because most of the people who say it, uh, aren't really that connected with the community of the valley and the history of the valley. So, let's talk about that first before we get into some of the things I know you guys hear or have heard, or maybe you've said this before. If you've said any of these before, it's okay. Well, it's not okay. It's not okay because, like I said, a lot of the reasons people say the things that they say is because it's borderline classist. And if you have said this in the past, I encourage you to do a little research. I also encourage you to, well, let's save that for after I'm done explaining the history. I'll tell you what I want you to do. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the history of the valley. So, let's begin. I learned about this in college, but this isn't like a guarantee you're gonna learn this when you go to UTRGV. And for sure, it's not gonna be, and like, if you're in another state that really doesn't cover like, um, borderland like history and shit like that, then you've never known about this. You know what I mean? Shit, I was from here and I didn't know about it until I got to college. You know? Anyways, and no tea, no shade, but it was told to me by a white professor. Well, I guess that kind of checks out. Okay, sorry. Okay. I'm okay. Um, I learned about this in college, but like I said, it's not a guarantee. This professor just happened to be informed in the history of the valley and its colonization, essentially, before me. And he gave me this knowledge and the class that knowledge, and I appreciate it. And I feel like I need to put this out there. And I really want this to be just a learning experience for all of us, you know? My goal in this podcast is to try to bring our community closer together and to not make it a safe space for everyone, because I feel like that's impossible for me to do. But I do want to like, I do want to claim space for people like me, and hopefully that'll encourage other people to from other identities that I don't identify, or maybe I don't even recognize them or see them right now. But I will see you if you decide to claim your space, and please do. I encourage you to. I learned this in college, my first year of college, in a philosophy class, mind you. Like, it wasn't even a history class, it was a philosophy class, and the class had to do with, it was called sex, class, race, and sex, or something like that. I believe it was those two though. Sexuality, race, and class. Yeah. And we talked about how a caste system was established here in the valley, essentially, right? The same way it was established all over the world. You know what I mean? White supremacy, all that fuck shit. But I think it's really important for people to see that from their perspective. I feel like we're so divided in the world. Like, if we just could all come together and like make out, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, I know that it gets tiresome to hear, but it's true. Like, we're so divided, and we need to highlight our the true issues here. And I feel like those true issues aren't each other. Those true issues are the systems that we have been forced to partake in. You know what I mean? But the thing is, we have to learn these systems and be able to recognize these systems in order to leave them. And this is all part of the conversation, right? So, my professor talked to us about the colonization of the valley, which one of the major land barons, I believe that's what they were called at the time. Now they're just like what? Like, the new term is like your landlord or whatever. Essentially, back then, Tejanos, the way they were like forced out of their like properties is because the property taxes would suddenly, like, go all the way up because people were trying to get more Anglos down here. John Sherry did a big participation in that, like, and other people like him, like, they would advertise the valley as like this paradise and all that stuff. They were like, oh, it's like a magical paradise, like jungle vibes or whatever the fuck, forests and shit like that, but like nada que ver, you know what I mean? They were just trying to get people down here to sell the land that they had, you know what I mean? And like, the people who had lived there forever, like, didn't have the money that they were looking for. So what they just turned up the price, you know what I mean? This would lead to Tejanos. They had no choice but to sell their lands to pay off like the debt that they accumulated, and they had to work their own lands. They work lands that they used to own, and a lot of this land, again, was I think was in citrus. John Cherry had a big role there. He established like the irrigation systems for the citrus to grow here in South Texas. But the thing is, like, yeah, like he did that, but exploited all of the workers who worked that. You know what I mean? Everyone knows the John Sherry mansion, but do you guys know where his workers lived? He would keep them in awful, awful working conditions and living conditions. Like, maybe no pay or low pay. But then like he would charge you, but then like the landowners would like charge you to live there. So you would pay them rent aparte. Since you're already working here most of the time, might as well live here. So they would pay them rent. Just, making poor people poor and making rich people richer. That's everything, guys. That's what everything is. And fuck. And I feel like a really, really big problem down here is classism. The demonization of low income people, or maybe the homeless, you know what I mean? Like, it's just horrible here. It's a very much like, oh, I pulled myself up on my bootstraps type fucking way of thinking, without thinking of all the history that happened, without thinking like, oh shit, like this wasn't that long ago. And then on top of that, there was like laws in place, like make it illegal for you not to have a job. And you know what the punishment was for like Tejanos? They would get deported, even though like they were born there. They were born in Texas. You know what I mean? And I guess a little bit of a trigger warning. I'm gonna talk about something graphic. And the way they like enforce these laws were because of the Texas Rangers. The Texas big like job the Texas Rangers would go and get Tejanos, would kind of lasso them by their neck and drag them on their horses to like brutality, you know? Essentially it was like police brutality. But just they weren't police, they were Texas Rangers. Fuck shit, you know what I mean? Fucked up shit that would happen here. And I don't think people realize how generational wealth works. Like, they don't really, people think that people here are poor because a lot of people are immigrants and they're poor because they choose to be poor. Like the valley's ugly because they choose to be ugly, because people don't work, because people are lazy, because people are just on food stamps or whatever the fuck. If you think like that, I beg you to educate yourself and to just take a reality check, dude. Like, life is super hard, especially if you're on your own, which a lot of us are, you know? A lot of people are. I am very lucky to say that I was never homeless for more than like 2 days. You know what I mean? There's people who aren't as lucky as I am. And fuck, you know what I mean? Like, people think that poverty is just a choice. It's not a choice. It's most of the time something you're born into. And most of the time, it's like, dude, do you understand how hard it is to get out, to leave that poverty line? You know how hard it is to, like, nowadays to make more than 30 grand? Especially down here, you know what I mean? Because people aren't opening businesses here because people don't think it's worth it. It is worth it. Why shouldn't we have a big tech company here? Young people aren't encouraged to be the good in this city, you know what I mean? Or be the good and the creative. They think that they can't be creative here, that they have to go somewhere else to create and be seen and be appreciated, because people think like, oh, well, it's not gonna happen here. I feel like we can make it a place like that, you know? Yeah, but let's pin that and more on the history, the violence on the Texas and Mexican border, you know? So this Texas Ranger bullshit, all this violence and this racial violence occurred during 1910 to 1920. And I have here a website, and I'll probably link it in the description if I can figure out how to do that. I'll figure it out. For you guys to check out. It's called refusingtoforget.org. And it's essentially a website talking about just the history of South Texas, and I encourage you guys to I encourage you guys to check it out and donate if you're able. It just talks a lot about just all the history that's here, you guys. There's so much good information on here, you guys. I highly encourage you to check it out. Let's read the first paragraph, okay? We're gonna do that. And again, just a little heads up, it does get pretty graphic. The dead included women and men, the aged and the young, long-time residents and recent arrivals. They were killed by strangers, by neighbors, by vigilantes, and at the hands of local law enforcement officers and the Texas Rangers. Some were summarily executed after being taken captive or shot under the flimsy pretext of trying to escape. Some were left in the open to rot. Others desecrated by being burnt, decapitated, or tortured by means such as having beer bottles jammed into their mouths. Extralegal executions become so common that a San Antonio reporter observed that finding of dead bodies of Mexicans suspected for various reasons of being connected with the Troubles has reached a point where it creates little or no interest. It is only when a raid is reported or an American is killed that the ire of people is aroused. Fuck. When I read that, when I was researching for the episode, like, I was like, shit, you know what I mean? There's just so much more history here, and so much blood has been shed here, of people trying to keep their land. And now we're here, you know what I mean? Like, people who have lived here our whole lives, and we're like, ew, we hate this place. It's just so, I guess when you put it into perspective, like, it sounds a little tone deaf, you know what I mean? Like, this land, like, where we live, like, it gives us everything we need. One, I think that there's just a lack of creativity here, you know? And with that being said, let's get into shitty things I've heard people say about the valley, and let's just have fun. We're gonna have fun with this, okay? Yeah. So, shitty reason number 1 why people hate on the valley. There's nothing to do here. Bruh, what the fuck do you mean there's nothing to do here? What the fuck do you mean there's nothing to do? What can you do? What is so important what is in LA, dude? What is in Austin? What is it that you want so bad? A river? A river walk? Is that what you want? Is that what you really want? Like, what do we not have in the valley? We have fucking food, amazing food, dude. The tacos and the fucking tacos are not $3 each. Here you get an order of tacos, not fucking individual tacos for $3 fucking dollars. Are you kidding me? What the fuck is that? Ugh. Like, there's so much to do here. There's shows all the time. You wanna go to fucking, like, go to a live show? You could go do that. You wanna go to a comedy show? You could go do that. You wanna go to a gay bar? You could go do that. You wanna go DT? You wanna go drink and get shit faced? You can go to DT or Uptown or literally any other random bar that is, like, scattered. You can do that, dude. Like, what? What do you mean there's nothing to do? You wanna go to the beach? You can go to the beach. Take a little, like, an hour away, but most beaches are. I'm sorry, I don't think, like, I think, what? Like, what else do you want? If you want to travel and experience, like, other sites, that's another thing. But if you're just shitting on the valley because, like, there's nothing to do here, that's a lie. It's a fucking lie. You are lying. You are a liar. Next. So, this is another reason why people don't like the valley, and I think it's completely false. That it's ugly. First of all, you're ugly. Oh my god! You know what I mean? Like, what makes it ugly, dude? What? Oh, it just doesn't fit my aesthetic. Like, what? What do you mean, dude? And again, like, I feel like when people say this, they're not referring to Cimarron. They're not referring to Sharyland Plantation. They're not referring to none of that. You know what they're referring to. They're referring to, like, the fucking barrios, dude. Like, that's what they're referring to. And I want to say I understand. I really, really do. But the minute people say, well, it's because that's ugly. Like, it's just such a nasty way of describing the living conditions of poor people, bro. Like, I'm sorry it doesn't fit your aesthetic. I'm sorry that you wish that it was, like, I don't know what, like, the fucking London or fucking big skyscrapers or whatever the fuck. But guess what? Actually, nothing. Like, that's just dumb. You know what I mean? Like, if you're like, and and that's the thing. Like, we need to stop like praising like that type of architecture. We need to stop praising, like, considering that like as good, as like the only thing that's beautiful, because it's not. I love like where I live, you know what I mean? Like, when I used to like walk with my husband, shout out to my baby. um when I used to walk around in the morning with him, like, it was so beautiful. Like, it was nice. Each house had its own little personality. um all the vegetation on each, like, different, every like senora with her little garden, they're always taking care of it. Little kids outside, I hear like playing around. Like, it's beautiful. I don't see like a reason to. Yes, I understand that like maybe there's things that we can fix. Maybe we can add sidewalks. But guess what? That's a city thing. And I don't see people petitioning and going and asking for like a for that shit. Like, to, hey, like, fix our sidewalks. Hey, we need sidewalks. Like, you know what I mean? How does it even work? You know? I'm like, the thing is, like, people don't, like, the people who are living like this don't have time to be worrying about, oh, I have a sidewalk or not. Like, when we like were looking where to live, we weren't like, oh my god, like, I wanted to like have a sidewalk. Like, no, like, I was like, okay, we need somewhere to live. You know what I mean? We'll pick this place. It's what we can afford. It's what we'll, you know, like, I don't have a garage. That's okay. It's just me and my husband. And yes, I'm married. If you guys want to hear a story about how we got married so fucking young, oh my god. Ugh! Like, I'll talk about it. It's fine. But not like too much. Just like a little love story moment. Yeah? Okay. Anyways. So yeah, like, just be mindful like what you're calling ugly. I don't think just it just reflects a lot of your personality and what you value, you know what I mean? Like, and like what I was saying, like, yeah, there's some fixtures that could happen, but guess what? Like, in order to do that, like everyone in the neighborhood has to go and ask the city, like, hey, we need this, we need that. If there's a demand, the city can prove that they need more funding for something, it could happen. But no, but y'all don't do that. Y'all don't do that. Y'all move to Austin because you want cuter whatever. You don't move to the other big cities around us where like they're begging us not to go anymore because it's getting so unlivable and like everything's getting so fucking expensive. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's one of the other ones. What else, guys? What else? Oh yeah, this is one that I haven't heard that much, but I have heard it. Um, there's a heavy Latina population down here. Um, and people are like, oh, it's because everyone's the same here. Like, why do you guys want to be different so bad? Like, why do you guys want to be different so bad? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why not embrace that part of the valley? Like, yes, we're all Mexican. Not all of us, obviously, but yes, a lot of us are Mexican. A lot of us are this, not Latinos, Latinas, Latines. Um, why is that a bad thing? You know what I mean? It's just this, and you could see it. You could see in each one of these reasons. There's just so much lack of unity, lack of, you know, critical thinking, lack of just out of touch. You know what I mean? Yeah. But with that being said, there is. I will always, like, I will never say that there's nothing we can't work on. And but the thing that I have more of an issue with is obviously government type shit and social shit. Like, the lack of protection of marginalized communities. Like, because this we're in Texas, one, and because a lot of our Latine um cultures are were heavily influenced, no, were assimilated. Our cultures were just like so watered down and assimilated to represent that of like European and Anglo culture and beliefs that were very conservative in that way. And it's important, once again, to claim our space. And that's something that I've been noticing a lot more recently. Like when I go to HEB and shit, um, I see like a bunch of like queer couples and like they're elders. They're elders, and I see them all the time. And I every time I go to like HEB, I have my little cute outfit because I don't go out that much. Even though I am a go-go dancer and yeah, nightlife girl, I don't go party or do any of that stuff anymore. Especially recently, because all my friends like aren't doing that anymore either. You know, we're all on our working on shit. You know what I mean? So I don't have a lot of party DT uptown friends. Like we don't really hit those places that much anymore because yeah, I think I only went, if anything, like I feel like I went to DT like way less. I would go to like more parties. Like in high school, I was like a just like a people would make pedas and shit. Like they would rent out palapas. Like rarely they would, but they did rent out palapas and shit. And it was like in the middle of nowhere, like Alamo and shit. And like me and my friends, we'd all pull up to like these ranches in the middle of fucking nowhere just to shake ass and drink beer. And drink fucking jungle juice and listen to fucking Migos and trap. Um to listen to trap and just throw ass and just all that. Um DT was so annoying cuz it's honestly so expensive. Like yeah. But anyways, moving on. Um but why was I talking about parties? Anyways, but back to what the fuck I was talking about. Like marginalized communities are marginalized communities for a reason. Like all over the world we're going to experience like every like type of discrimination. The thing is like I feel like the more we show up for ourselves, the more we help other people like us. Like the way I see like more queer people and couples in HB just out and about and living their lives, that makes me so happy and hopeful. Because it makes me hopeful because like if people see their elders and just other couples like them, maybe they won't be so scared one to just live their truths in whatever way that may be, you know? Um Obviously it's different for everyone and this is a very like specific situation, but there's so much to do down here. Essentially the good reasons to like critique the valley is like the lack of protections like our marginalized communities face, but that's literally everywhere. You know what I mean? Which brings me to my next point. So I see that more young, successful people, I think that more young people should mark their land and take up space. I don't see a reason to go to a big city thinking that's the only way to be something in the world, you know? And I think what it comes down to is community. Like, people want to be different so bad. Like, y'all want to be like, oh, look at me, I was able to make it out of the rancho that everyone hates. But like, why hate it in the first place, you know? I'm not ashamed to say where I'm from, and hopefully I'll be able to fucking die here. And I will have to go away, as most of us do, right? But I want to come back, and I'm gonna make it like a plan to come back and live the rest of my life here, you know? Trying to build a sense of community. And we'll see what I do. But hey, like, I encourage you guys to do it too. Like, I encourage, like, you guys, like, for example, if you are queer and you think that there should be more queer businesses, clubs, queer businesses, queer spaces, anything, events, go make that happen. You can do it. You know what I mean? It's not impossible, and people will support you because we're everywhere. For example, like, queer people are everywhere, you know? That's just one example that comes to mind. There's so many other ones. Like, for example, if you want to be a designer, and you don't think that you're gonna make it big because you're going to putting your designs here, dude, do it. Do it. You don't have to go anywhere else. You know what I mean? Maybe start doing your designs, work slowly, and you'll be able to do it. You know what I mean? Maybe you won't be able to work the job you want to right now, and maybe you'll have to get a different type of job. But hey, don't we do that anyway when we move to the big city? Like, our big dream doesn't come true immediately, you know? It doesn't come true immediately. And even then, sometimes we still end up working for other people. I think there's some people are so creative. I know so many creative people here just doing the thing, like being themselves. They inspired me to put myself out there as well and make a podcast. You know what I mean? And so many things can come from this. So many things can come from putting yourself out there and being vulnerable and working hard on something that you actually love. Like, doesn't that sound amazing? And doing it, like, the place where you're born, you know? Yeah, that's basically the premise of this episode was to say, stop shitting on the valley for shitty reasons, especially if those reasons are classist and stupid. Instead, bring abundance to the place that you say you want to change so much. You be the change. You do it. Because, you know what? I believe in you guys. And I believe that when the people are being negative towards something or someone, it's always deflection. And yeah, like, it's so true, dude. It's so true. I've been trying to apply that to my everyday thinking, but like, actually applying, like, and I know it sounds crazy, but hey, like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to heal. I'm healing, and I hope you guys are too. Speaking of healing, make sure that you guys drink water and ate something today. You guys everyone deserves fuel. Everyone deserves to eat. Thank you so much for hearing me out. What do you guys think about this topic? I'll post this on YouTube as well. So those on YouTube, please comment what you think about the topic. Are you also tired of hearing people shit on the valley as much as I am? Because, like, yeah, like, get something new. You know what I mean? Like, if fucking Elon Musk can tell that there's value here, like, are you gonna wait till just some other, like, stinky rich guy decides to say that there's value here? No, like, let's form the valuable stuff and let's us own it. You know what I mean? I feel like that's one of the best ways one of the best solutions, you know? Is not let it up to someone else to take this opportunity in this land, you know what I mean? So, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Malcriada, Thoughts of a Girl in a Sick World. Stay cute, stay sexy, stay being a local commune baddie, stay being malcriadas. Don't let people tell you, don't let people make you feel bad for fucking standing up for yourself. Keep being groseras, keep being malcriadas, and keep standing up for yourselves and keep marking your territory. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. There will be many more to come. And yeah, this is Citlali, your host, signing off. Bye.